Hello, wonderful people. Thanks for joining me for another exciting edition of Sport Exchange. My name is Judy Olaniro, and this edition promises to be an exciting one. Of course, you know how we do. We take you through some of the exciting stories as far as sports business is concerned. And when we come back, it will be time for me to do that.
Fantastically finished.
Okay, welcome back and straight to the news. The Minister of Youth and Sports, Mr. Sunday Dare, has revealed that a decision on the possibility of restarting the Football League in Nigeria will soon be reached by stakeholders. He announced this through his Twitter handle after a virtual meeting with the leadership of the Nigerian Football Federation over the altered 2019-2020 season and other matters affected. The Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 had not been favorably disposed to the restart of the Football League due to issues surrounding the health and safety of stakeholders. Meanwhile, the Confederation of African Football, CAF, has put together a plan to guide member associations on the restart of football activities on the continent. The 27-page document touched on the health of players, officials, fans and partners as critical to restarting the game, with government and local football authorities considering global guidelines for the spread of COVID-19. And let's talk football more. Brazilian commercial broadcaster Globo has been handed an injunction against World Football's governing body, FIFA, to withhold a $19 million broadcast rights payment. Globo successfully argued that its financial situation has been impacted so heavily due to the COVID-19 pandemic that it is not in a position to pay the installment. Globo and FIFA agreed an 8-year deal covering all FIFA events between 2015 and 2020, including the 2018 World Cup in Russia and the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. The latest installment is due on June the 30th. Report says FIFA might be weighing the options of taking the case to the Court of Arbitration for Sportcasts. And still talking football, and still in Brazil, Brazilian football club Flamengo has signed a 3-year main shirt sponsorship contract with Banco de Brasilia that will see the two organizations partner on the launch of a new digital bank. BRB will replace PS2 Bank as the club's master sponsor from July 1 in a deal reportedly worth about $6.8 million per year, more than double the $15 million per year paid by PS2 Bank. According to a video statement by Rodolfo Ladim, the president of Flamengo, the contract includes variables related to the performance of the banking product that will generate further revenue for the club. And finally, let's talk football more. Spanish football club La Liga has signed a long-term extension to its sponsorship agreement with video game developer EA Sports. The brand has been part of the league's global partner sponsorship tier since 2015, and the latest extension means the association will run until 2030. Sponsorship experts believe the deal is worth between 8 to 10 million euros per year for all marketing and licensing rights. While neither the league nor brand will comment on the value of the deal, sources say it is worth between 8 million euros and 10 million per year for all the rights. Okay, we'll take a break now, and when we come back, it will be time for us to look at the present conundrum that the Nigerian Football League is faced, whether to restart the league or not. Joining will be an expert from UK, who will be looking at this with me. Don't go away. It's still Sport Exchange, and I am Jide Olaniro.
Fantastically finished.
All right, welcome back. It's still Sport Exchange, and I am Jide Olaniro, your host. Don't forget that you can interact with us on all our social media handles. Okay, keep the conversation going. We will be glad to receive all your comments. Okay, today we're looking at the Nigerian Premier League, or football leagues as it is, because right now the world is talking about the restart of football leagues globally. So what is happening in Nigeria? And joining me to look at the conundrum that the Nigerian League is faced with right now is Calvin Owuka. Calvin Owuka is a publisher of ACLsports.com, and he's a UK-based football expert. Calvin, thanks for joining me on the show today.
My pleasure, Jide.
Okay.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Thank you very much, Calvin, once again. And let's look at this issue of Nigerian football leagues, which is the way out. Do you think the LMC or the NFF managed the decision to end the league well?
Have they ended it? I don't think they have. They're still discussing. They're still discussing. See, I've been particular about this for a while now. There are some things that are beyond sports. What we have at the moment, the pandemic, is beyond sport. Resuming the league is not a sporting issue. It is not. I think we all have to understand this. Resuming the league is a public health issue. So whatever meetings they're holding, this Minister of Sports, the LMC, and the Nigerian Football Federation, they cannot go ahead to resume the league without a sign-off of either of the Ministry of Health or the NCDC. That is something we've got to understand from the get-go. The Ministry of Health has to give them the go-ahead to say, okay, you guys have put every protocol in place that will protect the health of every Nigerian that is involved in this football league before they can even think of resuming the league.
Okay. At some point, some people were clamoring for the restart of the league, and you wonder, did they get their priorities right, knowing that safety should come before football? Because the social media or the media was awash with the fact that just like it is happening in the UK and the rest of the world, the Nigerian league should get going too.
Why are they thinking of the UK? Why are they thinking of England, Spain, and Italy? Why are they not thinking of Holland and France, where those ones ended the league because of the pandemic? See, football in Nigeria cannot operate in isolation from Nigeria as a society. What is our society? What is the health? How good is our health care? How good in fact, scratch this virus. What is the Medicare available to players under normal circumstances, excluding COVID-19? So look at that, and then now begin to see. Ask yourself, there is now a COVID-19 to add to the whole matter. How are they going to be able to cope with it? So that's what I'm thinking. That sincerely, I don't even know what we've got to lose. It's not like the league has a title sponsor anyway. It's not like the league is on TV anyway. So I have no idea what they have to lose if they decide to cancel the league. There's absolutely nothing to lose. Cancel the league and let us plan for when this pandemic is over, and then we can talk from there. at the moment, I don't know. I don't know why there's this desire to resume the league and put people's health at risk.
Okay. All right. Now, that leads me to the next question, Calvin. It's also similar because you are there in the UK and you've seen the Premiership restart. Even the English League, the second-tier league was restarted. It's been restarted. And now, let's imagine that everyone agrees to start the Nigerian Premier League. What will it cost us to put the league back, from your experience?
What are they... God, on what basis are they even agreeing to start the league? Have they, okay, let's assume they all agree to start. The things they have to put in place is, are they able to ensure that fans would never be anywhere, would not gather in numbers at the venues, the stadiums? Are they able to provide, not under normal circumstances, our league grounds don't even have enough police. They don't have enough policing. So now, would they be able to bring more police to be able to make sure that fans don't get into the stadium? Because remember, we're trying to, in England, that everybody keeps mentioning, England, Spain, and Italy, they're playing at empty ground, empty stadiums. So are we able to stop the fans from congregating? I saw a video a friend of mine took yesterday of a football match going on in Lekki, in Lagos. You cannot believe the crowd there. I was scared. I was just thinking, how come so many people are gathering in such numbers to watch football? So imagine the league resumes. Are we able to stop people from gathering? If we're not able to do that, are we able to do that? That's one. Two, do we have enough facilities to test all the players? Do we? I don't know. So these are before they agree. These are the two I can come up with right now that they have to tell us that they have answers to. If they don't have answers to this, then they have no business restarting the league.
Okay, all right. Let's imagine we decide to earn the league in the boardroom. Do you think it is fair to go by the what's it called now? Points per game approach?
See, I know how difficult it is. This is something. This is why these people are paid all that money to make tough decisions. My take will be, okay, check how many have they played the same number of games. I think I've got the table right in front of me, and I don't think they've played the same number of games. I'm not sure they played the same number of games. That is where the problem comes. If you haven't played the same number of games, then we've got to do what my colleague Peter Odairo calls weighted points per games. So they've got to find a way. They've got to find a way to provide Nigeria with representatives in the CAF competitions, and then to be able to relegate and promote teams. But is NNL going on? If NNL is not going on, then we really do not have to promote and relegate teams. But having said that, there are many ways around this. They can find ways around to either promote or relegate teams. But there's no need to award the title to anybody. You can just say where it is ended, we nominate by virtue of either points per game or weighted points per game. We decide who will represent Nigeria in the CAF competitions. See, people need to understand that the world was not prepared for this pandemic. It is a war situation. Actually, I've always maintained this. It's a war situation. So because of that, we have to make, how do I call it? We have to make unique decisions, and everybody should be prepared to accept these unique decisions. It's nobody's fault that the pandemic is around in this world at this time.
Okay. And lastly, if I may ask you, where does that leaves the no promotion, no relegation? Because I can see that you were saying something about that. Where does that leave the Nigeria Football League in the Committee of Football Nation? Isn't that strange? No promotion, no relegation.
No, I'm saying that if they want, they can actually work out relegations and promotions. They can. It's not once they are prepared to work out those representatives our representatives in CAF competitions, they can work out promotions and relegation. They can. See, why it seems like it's a difficult decision is because people think that resuming the league is an option. As soon as they take out that option, once it is no longer an option, then I believe that everybody will come down, put their heads together, and find ways to work out the promotion and the relegation.
All right, thank you very much, Calvin. Maybe I should just give you this as the parting one. You've seen it all when it talks about football organization. What can we do going forward now? At some point, COVID will be over. So what should our post-COVID workings should be like in football administration in Nigeria?
It's so funny. I have been speaking to a lot of people in the LMC, and they've been telling me things I didn't know before, the restrictions they're having, the problems that they're having. And the one thing I've taken away from my conversations with them is, okay, their hearts are in the right place. They really, genuinely want the best for Nigerian football. But Nigeria, as I said earlier at the top of the show, Nigerian football does not operate in isolation of the Nigerian society. So there are so many things they're having to battle. But I believe that if they're ready to make the tough decisions, then they will be fine. That's all. If they're ready to make the tough decisions, they will improve Nigerian football, and it will be to the benefit of Nigerians. What they've got to do is to find. They should not be afraid to be upset to upset some people because of the good decisions they want to take. If they're not prepared, if they're ready to do that, then Nigerian football will improve. Everything is on ground to improve, to make Nigerian football go up.
All right. Thank you very much, Calvin, for joining me on today's edition of Sports Business.
Thank you for having me.
All right. I've been talking to Calvin Obuka there, the UK-based publisher of aclsports.com. All right. We'll go on a short break, and when we come back, it's time for me to say my bye-bye.
Fantastically finished.
All right, welcome back. Still Sport Exchange. Don't forget, you can still reach us on our social media handles. They're there. Keep the conversation going. What is sports startups like in Nigeria at this time that the world is battling with coronavirus pandemic? Okay, we went out and we spoke to some startup entrepreneurs, and this is what they have to say in the next report about how they are faring in this trying times.
It's a nail-biting coincidence that the novel coronavirus broke out in Nigeria at a time when the government was working with sports stakeholders on a legal framework to structure the industry into a creative sector. The sector in Nigeria had before now lacked policy to drive its growth due to lack of data and interest from the government to tap into the multi-billion-dollar industry. Now that the COVID-19 pandemic is dealing a heavy blow on all areas of life, and sport is no exception, sports startups with a glimmer of hope some months ago are now battling survival.
Since I think the lockdown started, I think that was about end of March, everything has been completely shut. The only thing we've tried to do in the meantime is a lot of social engagement with our followers, supporters, members, players, etc., etc.
It's been a tough one as a sports entrepreneur, as a business owner, and as just a swimmer. It's really been tough. Not servicing our customers, not even having the opportunity to even speak or meet or do anything like that. It is really tough. I constantly think about my staff. I constantly think about, the people that we had to stop classes midway, that we're not able to continue. It's been, I think the sports industry is one of the most hit, actually.
Someone like us now, since March, we've not had any sporting events to cater for, to kit, and so to supply any form of sporting equipment. So our offices have been closed since March, and this is June. So technically, if we put that into Naira and figure, Naira and maybe we add dollars to it, it's not been easy.
While some of these sportpreneurs have had to lay off their staff or furlough them, some are still keeping up with their wage bill.
I haven't laid people off because, it's one, I run a small shop as it is. When I say shop, I mean I run a small outfit. I don't run like a 100, 200 employee type of organization. So it's manageable. There's been a lot of communication, ongoing communication with the staff, the team about where things are. It's difficult times.
Well, thankfully, we haven't laid off anyone. But what we did what we called a furlough. So everybody is kind of like on leave. That's what we did. And what we also try to do is we do weekly Zoom meetings. So we're just constantly checking in on each other. Like, for instance, one of my staff was actually supposed to get married April 18th. And we had all been looking forward to it. But then the pandemic happened and we couldn't even do anything anymore.
Although the government has floated a palliative fund to cushion the effect of the pandemic on small businesses, sports startups appear to be missing on the list of beneficiaries.
All right, that's how the cookie crumbles today. Hope you did enjoy every bit of the show. I'm your host, Judy Olaniran. Thanks for joining me. Let's keep a date next week for another exciting edition of the program, Sport Exchange.